one.
Good day, ladies. Today I'm going to carry on from where Steph has done the sewn in weft, because I would like you to do the beaded weft. I'm going to do two methods that I would like you to copy on your block, hopefully when we start back at college. So you can see Steph's weft where she's sewn it in, and she went through that on the previous video. So today I'm going to do two methods. So I'm going to do this method where I've prepped before and I've put some beads in. Now these beads are put in so it's sort of a finger width in between. Okay, and then you pop your beads in, and I have I'm using unusual colours because I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to use some red hair extensions that I'm going to pop in, and I'm going to use some blonde weaving thread so you can actually see. So on here, if I was doing a full horseshoe weft, then I would have these beads going all the way around, and I would start from the centre. So I'm going to actually start from the centre so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so the beads are actually sewn on with the thread. Sorry, the weft is sewn on with the thread. And this is how we do it. So you actually go through the bead, and I'm using a single thread to try and keep it as smooth and as flat to the head as possible. Okay, I'm also then going to use a form of blanket stitch. If you're a little sewer, then you might remember this from school when you used to do a sewing class. And the blanket stitch is where you take your needle through and you actually wrap the thread around your needle. Okay. Things you need to be aware of is the tension that you're putting on this client's head. Now these type of extensions, I reckon, need to be adjusted every 3 to 4 weeks. They will slip, they will become loose, hair will get tangled. So they are a temporary method. I wouldn't use these on very fine hair. The hair would have to have a fair amount of thickness to it, because again the tension would be too tight for the finer hair. These are a great thing if you're doing a little bit of a fashion shoot and you just want a flash of colour in without going through all the colour and motions. And that one is as simple as that. Now I'm not going to cut the end off because this is one of my demonstration colours, so I want to keep as long as I possibly can. I do a couple of extra little knots on the end to hold in place, keeping it approximately 1 inch from the hairline, and that's that type. There's no right and wrong way of doing extensions. It's as long as you are putting them in as professional as possible. So the second method, I'm going to use beads. I'm going to use beads. And the weft. So this can be a little fiddly. Again, in the salon sometimes I'll get the apprentice to give me a hand. So this time, again, a double weft I'm going to use. Oh, got an apprentice, didn't know I had one, lovely. On that side if you don't mind. So to start off, I start off on the middle so I can anchor it, and then hopefully the apprentice can leave me in peace and I can carry on. So I take some hair underneath and I take some hair above. Now these sections are obviously as neat as you can possibly get them. You've got to think about the tension that is going to be on the hair. You don't want too thick wefts. 2 rows is enough. I never put 3 rows of wefts in when I'm doing this method. Always just 2. And I might put more rows in. Instead of putting 2 rows of wefts, I might use 3 rows of wefts. Now for these, we have little pliers. Now that again, there's many sets of pliers out there. I think you can let go now. Many sets of pliers. My favourite ones are the ones that you can actually, when you need to loosen the bead, it turns the bead back into the circle. And you can shift them up or you can tighten them, you can readjust them. Unfortunately, I've left them in the salon. Again, hair underneath, hair above. Try and make it an even weight above and below. And again, this is spaced out possibly a finger width apart. And again, depending on how thick the hair is, it's how many wefts you will put in. Now on our block heads, we don't have enough hairs per square inch. On real heads, there's a lot more hair per square inch, so it actually looks a lot neater than it does on the block. Okay, you want your beads to lie as flat as possible. See if I can just get one more in there. I'm going through the weft to pick the underneath hair up. But I'm trying not to pick any of the weft hair up because this can be quite uncomfortable and sometimes it feels like it's catching and you'll get your client fiddling with it and loosening it up. Some under, some over. Bead on. Now your beads, there's many different types of beads out there. These are quite large beads, so you can take a good little section of hair. I also have really fine beads which are known as nano beads, and for the nano beads it's quite hard to remove the nano beads. We have a fabulous tool that looks like though it belongs to the dentist to help remove them. Now as I'm coming to the end here, I want to show you how we do the end section. There's a little trick to it that holds the head, instead of it flicking like this and becoming loose, so through. As you can see, I've got some of the extension here, so I want to take it out. Some out behind or on top. Now I'll do two of these quite close when I get to the end. So there's one. Now as the extension's growing, this is usually the one that falls off. But you want one on the end because you don't want it to flick out and show above the ear. So you can see I've got that as close as I can to the end. But I'm sort of going to angle that bead. And then what I do is I pick up the two beads together. Excuse me. And attach them two beads. This time again, see how nice and thick sections in that bead. And you can now see I'm pulling it to the side. Hopefully it'll stay in there and it won't fall off the end. So you can also see the amount of beads that are there. Okay, what do you think about that, ladies? So there, in that head, we've got beads on their own through a weft. We've got beads and sewn in method. And then we've got a sewn in weft, okay? Each one used for different reasons. Okay, happy extensioning, ladies.